Right guys, iOS 17 is officially out to the public, and on the surface it seems like Apple's just re-released iOS 16 with a brand new wallpaper, but there actually are some pretty nice upgrades I've come to appreciate, and here are some of the new changes I've loved using after testing the beta for a few months. So the first thing I found mildly interesting was the new personalized phone call UI feature. There's surprisingly a lot of customization here. Low-key feels like Android with the amount of tweaks you can do, but I like it. And instead of you having to rely on others to pick a fancy photo of you in their contacts, you can now pick a nice picture of yourself with some cool looking text, and that would appear on your friends and family's devices. That's pretty neat. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Live voicemail is also something I can see coming in super clutch. I personally rarely pick up numbers I'm not aware of because it's most likely some dodgy guy trying to scam me, but in the off chance it is an important call from someone new, I can of course now get a transcription of the voicemail, and I would immediately know if I need to call them or not. Now I'll be honest, it's low-key a rip-off of what Google already does with their pixels, but you know what guys, here's my policy on copying. Companies are allowed to steal ideas as long as it's a good idea that benefits consumers, and this is hella convenient, and so I'm glad it's now on iOS. Now the next few updates I'm gonna mention are to do with iMessage, which is something only people in the US care about because literally the rest of the world uses WhatsApp. And so a lot of the new features with iMessage are literally things we've already had on other messaging platforms for years. For example, swipe to reply. Yes, iMessage, for some reason, is only just getting this. It's like prehistoric tech at this point. I've had this on every other messaging service for years, but regardless, it's very convenient compared to long pressing a message to reply, so yes, thank you Apple for finally catching up with the competition. The next feature, however, is actually novel and exclusive to iMessage, which is getting a transcription of audio messages. This is actually pretty awesome because when I'm out and about, I don't want to be playing out audio messages in public in the off chance my friends are sending something hella sus, and so just to make sure if I get a transcription to confirm whether it's dodgy or not, that would be clutch. So I appreciate this change. Another feature I haven't tested yet but I can see myself using is sharing locations and also checking in with family and friends. Since I do have younger siblings and I'm a pretty overprotective brother, I could see myself telling them to use this, and basically when they occasionally go out to meet friends, their phones can automatically tell me they have safely arrived at their destination, and I can see many parents using this. Now, a feature I've had some fun playing around with is using my own photos to create stickers and using them anywhere you like. Now obviously developers need to first support this, which I'm assuming is going to happen in the coming months, but from my limited usage with it on iMessage, it's pretty cool, I can't lie. We already saw with iOS 16 how well subject lift works. I actually use it all the time for thumbnails, and so this feature builds upon that. You can also add snazzy effects to your sticker if you wish to, so yes, this is a very fun feature. Now moving to Standby, this basically turns your iPhone into a home hub-like device when plugged in and in a horizontal position. However, unfortunately only the 15 Pros and the 14 Pros with the always-on displays stay in standby for as long as you want. Other iPhones have to be tapped and the information is shown for a few seconds, but I do kind of wish it stayed on this screen for a bit longer, but you know Timothy, he wants you to get the $1,200 15 Pro Max if you want all the best features. Either way though, for your nightstand, it's a nice addition. However, I really wish the iPad got this. Naturally, a larger display is better for displaying content, and so I can definitely see that being the ideal replacement to a home hub-like device, and it can basically be Apple's answer to the Pixel tablet, but unfortunately there is no mention of this with iPadOS 17. In fact, just you watch, this will be a feature for iPadOS 18 because for whatever reason, iPadOS usually gets iOS features a year late. Moving on, let's talk about interactive widgets. Yes guys, at last, it's finally here, I can't believe it. This should have been here the day we got widgets, to be honest. which was 3 years ago. That's crazy. But anyways, this is a massive upgrade in my opinion because it's super useful, for example, ticking off things directly off the reminder widget. And it's also super clutch for controlling your media directly from the home screen. And before the Android plebs mention this in the comments, I know you guys have had this for a decade. Cool story, bro. I'm just glad iOS finally has this. Name drop's also a pretty cool feature that I have not tested yet because I'm recording this before iOS 17's public release, and I only have one device running iOS 17 beta. So yes, in the off chance I go outside and touch grass and also then meet someone, it's pretty nice. I can now airdrop my contact details instead of having to manually type out my number. Imagine doing that in 2023. The journal feature unfortunately is still not available to try out, but I may possibly test this. The phone basically collects data about your day, and that can be a starting point for your journal entry where you can write down a few thoughts. So I'm looking forward to checking this out when it does launch, and it's probably going to kill a ton of third-party journal apps on the market. Now, iOS for many years has had horrific autocorrect, and according to Apple, it's finally been fixed with iOS 17. Now, do I see a difference? Not really, if I'm being honest. Though I am testing this on an SE3 with a 4.7-inch display, and while typing on this is a little cramped, I can't lie, since I use a 14 Pro Max on a regular basis, and so that could be the reason I'm making more errors on this. For those who are using iOS 17, tell me in the comments if you see any actual ducking difference. But another keyboard related upgrade I actually did notice is a new inline as you type feature, which predicts what you're going to write next. Similar to what Google offers with Gmail, it's pretty accurate in my testing, so thank you Apple for once again copying Google. Another small change I've come to appreciate is adding Face ID to private browsing, which means if someone randomly gets access to your phone, they will not be able to see your sketchy incognito tabs without your face. So if you search for very interesting things that you don't want others to see, then yes, this feature's for you. Has also been shortened to on iOS. This is actually optional. This is actually optional, which is great because while I personally think shortening the phrase is a terrible idea that could potentially cause more accidental triggers, I did see some of you guys in the comments say you actually want this change, so I'm glad Apple's giving us a choice. In photos, iOS 17 brings improvements to face recognition, which has been iffy at times in the past. Sometimes pictures of me end up in my brother's collection of photos, so I'm glad that's been fixed, and also now supports dogs and cats. Another small change is the AirPods pop-up now coming in dark mode at last. I'm surprised it took Apple this long to fix it, considering we got dark mode back with iOS 13, but hey, better late than never, I guess. Now, the final two things I'm going to discuss are major quality of life changes many are going to appreciate. The first thing is iOS 17 now automatically clearing any older verification codes in messages and mail. I'm sure many of you guys have tons of old verification codes that take up a lot of space, and so I'm glad iOS can automatically erase this, and it's the one feature I've come to appreciate so far across my many months of beta testing iOS 17. Also, I've been wanting to share AirTags for a long time because I find it very weird we can see the location of our family members' iDevices, but not their bloody AirTags. So thank you for fixing that. And I feel like that sums up this update, to be honest. Thank you, Apple, for fixing that. This definitely is not a revolutionary upgrade by any means, and low-key feels like iOS 16.7, but there are some significant quality of life changes that you are going to appreciate on a daily basis. And also, more importantly for me, iOS 17 has been way more stable, which is refreshing after how buggy iOS 16 was. Let's hope it stays that way. Also forgot to mention this, but haptic touch is a lot better with iOS 17, and low-key feels like 3D Touch Reborn. So yes, once again guys, it's a ton of small changes that adds up to a pretty meaningful update. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.